So I finished binging Kim's Convenience, and here is what I thought. So if you don't know what Kim's Convenience is, it is a TV show that follows a Korean family in Canada running a convenience store. You see the family's day-to-day life of running the convenience store, and you also kind of see their family dynamic. So this is a comedy with 5 seasons, and I thought it was a pretty good watch. And you can currently watch all 5 seasons on Netflix. And the show features the Kim family, which why called Kim's Convenience, and they have the mother and father, Mr. and Mrs. Kim, and then the son and daughter, Jung and Janet. So that is the general base of the show. You basically follow the 4 people in this family, their lives, and them running this convenience store. So that is a general synopsis of the show. I am going to get more into spoilers, so if you don't want to know anything about the show, you can leave, watch it, then come back. But if you don't really care and you want to know more of my thoughts, here we go. Spoiler territory. So as I mentioned, the show follows a family that runs a convenience store. At the beginning of the show, we see that Janet helps her parents run the store, and her brother works at a car rental place called Handy. This is where we get into more of the drama that comes in the show. So it turns out that the son, Jung, and his father, Mr. Kim, no longer speak to each other. Janet and Mrs. Kim, they still talk to both of them and to each other, so they talk to everyone. But just the son and the father don't speak to each other. And you see Janet and Mrs. Kim try to help them mend this relationship, try to get them talking to each other with them knowing and without them knowing sometimes, but they're trying to mend that relationship that was broken years ago. We do find out a little bit later what had kind of happened, or you do learn more details throughout the seasons of what happened between them. So you do find out there's like a huge fight that happened when he was around like 16 or 17, and he like left the house, or kind of was basically kicked out the house and never came back. Sad to hear that something happened that bad to sever that relationship between them. I don't think they were like the closest ones in the family, but for them to go a long time without speaking to each other, it's definitely really sad. Not only affects them, but affects other people in their household, as we can see. Eventually, throughout the seasons, you do see them slowly begin to talk to each other again and try to have some type of relationship moving forward. There is definitely still some strain on their relationship, but they are trying to get back to or close to where they were, to be at least cordial to each other. In the show, you don't see them interact too much just because of the nature of what happened with their relationship. But there was one scene in one of the seasons when Janet's like throwing a surprise birthday party for her mother, and Jung and his father are both there because she wants everyone to be there to surprise her mother. You know, tensions are running a little high because of the situation, and Jung and his father kind of get in a disagreement, an argument, and basically it was over a misunderstanding. Like the father says something and then Jung takes it a whole different way that his father didn't really meant. And at least initially when I was watching it, I could understand where the miscommunication was, and I understood how Mr. Kim was saying it, and then I understood how Jung took it, and that's where the argument kind of began. Thank goodness Janet was there because she diffused the situation and explained, this is what he said and what he meant, this is what he thinks you're saying to him, but this is actually what is going on. And they both were like, oh. So they both kind of like, oh. Just like, oops, we made an argument out of something that didn't really need to be an argument. It just kind of showed me a glimpse of what kind of possibly took a part in what happened to them years ago with him kicking him out and their huge argument between each other. And it probably was mostly miscommunication or like tensions flying high and they're misunderstanding each other or not listening. You know, things happen between people. But just that little snippet of a scene, I was like, wow, that could have some relation and why. Like, you know, they butt heads a lot because they might not understand what each other saying, or may take it the wrong way, which the person saying is not intending it. So I was like, wow, thank goodness Janet was there, but it was like, you know, sad to see that misunderstanding could lead to so much tension within the family. So also in the show, we follow some relationships as well. So the one I'm going to talk about first is Janet and Raj. This was a big one. At least it came back here and there and throughout some of the seasons. I hated Raj so much. So he's seeing Janet, like they're kind of casual, but they're seeing each other and hanging out and all these things. And On Janet's end, she's like catching feelings. I think it looks like she wants to be more serious, be more exclusive. And then she finds out that he's engaged. And I'm just like, what? This is the problem I have. There's one thing where like, okay, we're just keeping it casual. We're not really putting a label on this or anything. And then there's another, then the next couple days you hear, oh, I'm engaged. That's where I'm frustrated. He's keeping it casual, but then he gets engaged. I'm just like, well, if you were going to be engaged to someone, why are we seeing each other? That's all I'm saying. I was just like, dude, are you serious? I felt so bad for Janet. After that happened, in a later season, they end up meeting each other again. And he tells her that he still has feelings for her. But he is still engaged. He's telling Janet, like, I miss us. I miss you. And she's like, aren't you still engaged? And I was like, thank you, Janet. Thank you so much for putting this dude in check, because it's like no. And I'm so glad she didn't like fall for that again, like get in this trap of this dude. She really likes think he's gonna leave his fiance and all this stuff and being with him when he's engaged. So thank goodness for that. So I really did enjoy that about Janet. Like of course she still had feelings for him, but she wasn't gonna be with him if he was still engaged to another woman. We do see eventually he does break off his engagement for her. She was like, you thought I was just waiting around for you? No. And goes out on a date. I was like, dude, this is what you get. Like, I knew he broke up and poured his heart out to her, but it is what it is. But I really liked that how they had Janet stand her ground and be a strong woman and not fall for this dude again while he's with another woman. So another relationship or couple that we see on the show is Jung and Shannon. I do have to say, at first I wasn't the biggest fan of them getting together. After a while I got used to it, and then I kind of did like them together. But near the end of their relationship type of thing on the season, the whole engagement / competition show and what they were willing to do to get on TV, that did kind of make me sad. They were both on different pages of their relationship. Jung wasn't really ready to make that commitment, but was ready to do it for a TV show. And Shannon, it looks like she was ready to make that commitment, even if it meant it being because of the TV show. She was ready to go to that next step in the relationship. But it seemed like when they didn't get the TV show, they weren't on the same page on where their relationship was going. So it was definitely sad near the end when they decided to end their relationship. Like, you can see the heartbreak in both of them and when it happened, but they both knew it was for the best. And they were very nice about it, and they wished each other the best, but they just knew like their time together was coming to an end. So yeah, that was really sad to see that, even though I didn't love them in the beginning, just to see how their relationship went through the highs and lows and then where they were, and just to see how it ended. I was so sad for them, and I really wanted them to pull through, but just how they ended it and were still rooting for each other even after their relationship ended. What I really liked about this show is that even though it was a comedy and it had those funny moments, it also gave you the emotional ones. Like, it wasn't just a comedy, it was those serious moments. And I'm not gonna lie, I was tearing up a bit. Sometimes it just hit me out of nowhere. I'm just watching this show, I'm like, oh, ha ha ha, and then they hit me with a sad moment. I think it really was because of just like, the family dynamics and relationships between friends and relationships between significant others, things like that. It just really hit me a bit hard when they pulled out that emotion a little bit harder in some scenes. But I just think that's a really good sign of a good show, when they can bring you the comedy and all that, but then give you a dash of emotion that makes you feel something, I just think that makes a really good show. So as saying that, after watching this show, I would rate it 3 stars. I think it was a good show. I don't think I would ever really go back to it or rewatch it, but I definitely think it's a good comedy. It's definitely a quick comedy as well. It had about 5 seasons, and each season I think was around 13 episodes. So a good show to, if you want to binge, and it's not going to take you super, super long. It's just a good one to watch. So if you want a good show, a good comedy that's not going to take you forever to watch, I would definitely give this one a try. But yeah, I definitely would rate it 3 stars. Good show, average show, and it did a lot of great things in my opinion. So again, if you're looking to try a new comedy, you can catch this one on Netflix, and as I said before, it has 5 seasons, so it can keep you a little occupied. So if you have seen Kim's Convenience, what did you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know how you agree, or if you disagree with my opinions. And also, if you want to give your rating on the show, definitely, I rate it out of 5 stars. And if you want to know my thoughts for each season, you can definitely go check out my blog. I wrote what I felt about each season for Kim's Convenience. So after I finished the season, I kind of wrote my thoughts and put that up there, and I went through each season. So there were 55 blog posts for Kim's Convenience. So yeah, if you didn't know, when I binge watch a show that's 5 or more seasons, I will but kind of write a blog post for each season saying how I thought. And then once I finish the show, I will do a whole video review on all the seasons that I watch. So other shows that I have done for that are Vikings and X-Files. I can definitely link those videos below for you, so feel free to check those out. And if you want to check out the blog post corresponding to those that I talk about each season, you can do that as well. So yeah, as I said before, feel free to check out my blog and all the binges that I have done if you want to. There's more TV content on there. Feel free to check out my socials as well, and you can go follow me on all those. And I hope you did enjoy this review. If you did, you can definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, week, month, and hopefully a good rest of your year. And until next time, bye.